Hello everyone, my name is Mahogany Angel and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is gonna be my third video, so if y'all haven't tuned into my other videos, go ahead and go down there and like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you comment on this video because I really want to know what y'all think about this video. But this is gonna be a story time about the time that my ex-boyfriend choked me. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so it's back when I was 19 years old. When I was 19, it was 2014, and I just graduated high school, and I ended up moving to Beaumont, Texas. And so when I moved to Beaumont, Texas, I was in Beaumont for a total of 2 years, just about 2 years. And this entire time, I was with this one guy. If you want a story time about how we met, that's a crazy story too. How we ended, everything. There's a lot of juice in this story. So this particular time was towards the end of our relationship. Towards the very end of our relationship. We were working at this place called Major League Grill, and we were fighting a lot to where, like, I didn't understand why we were arguing, because it wasn't like we didn't have anything to argue over. We were just arguing all the time. So we got into an argument. There was one day where we were working, we got into an argument at Major League, and it got so bad that he left. And when he left, I went after him. When I went after him, we said we was gonna come back, but we didn't end up coming back. So when we did go back, they were like, look here, y'all got one more time to mess up. And down in Beaumont, Texas, they didn't like people like me. Like, I guess I was different. I don't know in what way, but they thought like I was abnormal, like, because I wasn't from there. You can tell when someone isn't from where you from. So they just treated me really different at that place. So I ended up quitting, and he and my boyfriend ended up quitting shortly after that point in time. So meanwhile, we looking for jobs. I'm putting in job applications for me and him. He ain't putting no job applications in, but he getting all these interviews and I'm not. I'm like, what is really going on? So he ends up getting hired at T-Mobile. At this point in time, the restaurant that we were working at, we had a couple friends, and one of my friends was staying with us. And she was a sweet girl and everything. She was lost. So he pulled me aside one day. She was sitting on the couch. He pulled me into the room because we had like a 1-bedroom where like the washer and dryer was inside the bedroom and the restroom was inside the bedroom, but the kitchen and the living room was outside the bedroom. So she was sitting in the living room, and we went into the room. He was like, yo, listen, I can do a lot with her. And I was like, you can do a lot with her? Like, what do you mean by that? And he was like, nah, it's not what you think. I'm really trying to piece it together because clearly I'm not about that life. He was like, no, just think about it. Like, I could make some money on her. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I just let him run around with his little fantasy, but in no way do I condone any of the stuff that goes on in this story. I'm telling you, this was probably like the last time. It was definitely the last time I spoke to him about being in a relationship or anything. She ends up leaving, and so I'm still putting in job applications. So this boy is out here talking about, you a bum, you ain't working. I'm like, I'm putting in applications for me because I put in an application for you and you got a job. Come to find out that where he worked, I put in an application and my name came up. but my score on the, you know, that little quiz that you take before the before you get hired to see if you're like fit for the job. Well, I got a higher score on it than he did. They said he said I got an A and he got a B. And so they were trying to hire me on as a manager. But he was like, nah, she can't work here. So he told them no, basically. And I was still without a job. And he was out here calling me a bum. So when I finally did get a job, I was walking everywhere because he had wrecked both my cars. And then we had like these little, his family would give him these little rinky-dink cars, and I'd be driving them around. And then they mess up, and then it'd be on me. I think at this point in time, we're driving, and the tire hit the curb, and it popped. Like, bruh, for real. So I was walking. So luckily where we lived at, there was a mall and another mall like right across the street from that. So everything was in walking distance. So I was filling out applications. I was walking there, filling out applications, doing my job interviews, going home. So then I finally get a job. I started working at Best Buy. I really liked that job, but I felt like it was like a dead end type job. Like I have to grow. And I didn't feel like I was gonna grow there. So I'm like, okay, well, what better than to go join the Army? So I walk across the mall area in front of our house, and there's a little recruiting station. So mind you, in Beaumont, Texas, they didn't have like a place to like do all the stuff that you got to do to join the Army. So they drove us to Houston, the 2-hour drive. We stayed there for 2 days. And in this 2 days, he was at home going to work. So when I get back, Buddy is like, you was out there cheating on me, doing whatever you was doing. Where I was like, that is not what happened. That's not what happened at all. I was really, really trying to make it at that point in time. And so like a couple months after that, I stayed there with him, and I was working. I was walking to work. He was driving a car that was given to him to his other job, and we were just living together because we had broke up after he said I was cheating on him in Houston. And so while we was broken up, like he had got us some phones from T-Mobile, and so we wasn't used to, at this point in time, like when I first met him, we were sharing a phone. Like that's, if you want a story time about how I met him and what transpired in our relationship, just comment down below and I'll push out another video as far as that is concerned. But he had bought us a phone, each a phone, and his phone was always locked. This was back when like Snapchat had first started, and there was such thing as Kick. I don't know if people still use Kick, but this was back when Backpage was up. He was doing the full 9. I'm telling you. We would be laying in bed and he'd be like on his phone, but he'd be turned away from me so that I couldn't see what was going on in his phone. That was the most living with your ex is the most toxic situation that you could ever be put in, and I was put in it. So yeah, so when he would like go to sleep, I go through his phone. I don't know how I got his password, but back then I was a real sneaky one. But I went through his phone, and then I got the password to his Kick somehow, and I got the password to his Snapchat somehow. I really don't know how. And I was logging on with my phone when he was at work. I didn't know that he was on his phone at work, because in my head, like when you at work, you can't be on your phone. But he worked at T-Mobile, so it just wasn't clicking. So he was on his Kick. And Kik is, if you don't know, Kik is like a little messenger app where you can exchange messages and pictures and the whole nine. But when it logged him out of Kik, it was like, yo, what's going on with my stuff? I feel like you logging in. And I was like, I'm not. I don't got none of your I don't have none of your passwords. I don't know nothing about what you got going on over there. Just leave me out of that. So when he got home, we had something to argue about. We have been, like I said, we have been arguing, but that caused a bigger argument. And he had no proof. We was just arguing. And so this argument, this last argument in particular, led us to, we argued, then we went to sleep in the same bed. And then he got up the next day. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. And he like, okay, well, I'm about to go to work. I don't know what I said, but he started getting ready. Whatever I said that triggered him, he came and he grabbed me and he like was like shaking me. I was like, whatever he had said in that moment, it triggered me. Mind you, I said in no way do I condone any of the stuff that went on in this situation. I did not condone violence. I don't condone none of that. But whatever he said, it made me mad enough to slap him. So I slapped him and he like touched his lip. He was like, so he grabs me. I do not know what the dialogue is. Mind you, this is 2014. It's 2021 now, so I don't remember what he said, but he grabbed me by my neck and he like pushed me to the ground. We was on the ground and he started to squeeze. Like, he was like, I could just kill you right now. And I looked up at him and I was like, if you're gonna kill me, you should probably kill me now. And so he started squeezing tighter and I like started to feel myself fade. Like I couldn't see anymore. I wasn't thinking anymore. Like there was nothing going on in my brain. I was just like, oh shit, I'm dying. And so he just let go. But when he let go, he ran. And I was like, where the fuck is he going? So I ran out the room, picked up my phone. I dialed my friend. I had a friend. He was the fakest person in the world. Like, I had a friend. I called him and I was like, yo, this man just choked me. I need you to come pick me up. I need to go to Houston. So can you come get me now? He said he choked you. Meanwhile, the front door opened. So we lived on the second floor. We lived on the second floor. The front door, I told you how the living room was set up. There was the living room, and the front door. So he ran out the front door, so the front door was open. While I'm on the phone, this man run up the stairs, and he grabbed the phone. He like, who is this? I'm going to kill you. I was like, what the fuck? So I get my phone back. And Buddy's like, oh, fuck no. And he hangs up the phone. I'm like, no, this is not how this is supposed to go. So he goes downstairs to go to Boss's house. We had a friend, a mutual friend named Boss. And he lived in an apartment downstairs where he did like his little art and stuff. But Boss was like, oh, like, even though he did art and he was real smart, he was like he was toting. So, so he ran downstairs to grab a gun from Boss. And so he ran back upstairs, but he didn't have no gun. So I was like, oh, thank God. Because he was already talking about killing me. So at this point in time, I'm just sitting in the house. I'm just sitting there because there's nothing I can do. Nobody I can call. I don't know nobody. And that was my only friend. So I'm stuck. So I'm sitting there. He starts grabbing all my stuff. Throwing it outside. Throws everything I own in that apartment outside. So Then he proceeds to grab me. He grabbed me like underneath the arms, like around my chest, and he puts me outside. He just puts me there. And then he locks the door and goes to work. And I'm just sitting outside because I don't have all the stuff he packed did not include a key. So I just sat outside. I had my phone, so I just sat there. And then my next door neighbor, he used to work at the places, all the places that we worked at. So he came home. I was like, yo, look, can you just put all my stuff in your house and I'll come back and get it? Because this man that put me out, he didn't choke me. I need to call somebody. So I couldn't think of anybody else to call. So I called his mom. So I called his mom and I'm like, Dwight choked me. Can you come get me, please? And she was like, oh, I done told that boy. How many times I done told him to stop putting his hands on women? I was like, wait. So you knew this whole time that your son was capable of this, but you didn't tell nobody. You didn't warn me. You didn't say, look, look, sis, look, little girl, look, anybody. He's got anger issues. And you need to know that because he's done this. Like, you can only respect a mother who could be real. It's like, look, sis, you looking real stupid out here. Look, sis, this is what you need to be aware of. More women need to be like that. And I probably will be that type of mother to be like, look, sis, my son got some fucking problems. I'm going to let you know just so that I don't want nothing to happen to my son. I don't want nothing to happen to you. But I don't know no mothers. She definitely was not like that. So either way, she came and picked me up. I ain't have nothing because all my stuff was locked in this boy house. So she came to pick me up and she drove me to her house. She was like, you don't have nobody to come get you? I was like, we in Beaumont. My family from San Antonio. Like, no ma'am, I don't have anybody to come get me. By a stroke of luck, I had in my phone this guy who used to work with us. He was real sweet. He was always around. And I didn't understand at the time, but he seemed to have a little crush on me. I called him. Mind you, I'm saying all this like I wasn't hurt. But back then, I was like, can you tell me that? I just need you to take me to Houston. So Buddy was like, oh, I'm going to a church meet in Houston. So you could just ride with me. I was like, bet. Because that was all I had left in me, was like a way to get back to my mom. Like I really didn't have nothing going for myself there besides Best Buy. So I just left all my stuff, left that job. Yeah, he took me to Houston. I boohooed all the way to Houston. I was like, so when we got to the church meet, I said, I have friends in Houston that can do some stuff for me. So just drop me off with them. He was like, oh, we gotta go to the church meet first because we don't have enough time. And I was like, you gonna trap me into going to church after this happened to me? Like, mind you, I still fucking crying. Like, I was just like, okay. But in my head, I was just gonna wait in the car. So I sat in the car for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I was like, you know what? I gotta get the fuck out this car because I can't just sit here because I'm steady thinking about all the stuff, my stuff back at home, how I'm gonna get home. Because at this point, I ain't even got my first check yet from the Best Buy. I'm trying to put all this stuff together in my head, and it's just not coming to me. So I go into the church. You know how church people are. They all friendly. And so when I walked in, they were like, oh my God, are you nude? Meanwhile, my eyes just red and puffy. I'm not crying at this point in time. I sit down and I'm like listening. I don't know how I got into this room or like where Buddy was, but I was just sitting there, and then they started like doing their little sermon, and then the waterworks come again. I'm like, and they were like, sis, are you okay? I'm like, sis is not okay. Like, sis is not okay. So they like a group of women like come and they huddle around me and they start walking me out, talking to me, asking me what's wrong, but I can't make words. Like I'm boo-hooing this hard. I just wanted to go home. Like I just wanted to go home. And so Buddy finally comes, and they took me to the car. Buddy is waiting at the car. And he was like, all right, where I need to take you. So he take me all the way to the east side of Houston. Like, if you don't know, like we were in, I believe we were in Humble at the time. My aunt lived in Humble, but she wasn't picking up the phone, I don't think, or maybe I didn't have access to her number. But I ended up going to my friend, and he was staying in a hotel, so I stayed in his hotel for that night. And then he dropped me off at my other friend's house, and I stayed in my other friend's house for another two nights until I could get my mom is so supportive. She like bailed me out of so many situations. My mom actually gave me money for this thing. I don't know if y'all know about what a megabus is, but back then you could ride a megabus for $1 and go anywhere you want to from San Antonio to Houston to Dallas to New Orleans. You can go just about that far for $1 or like maybe $30. So my mom had got the money together, and she sent it to me so I can pay for my bus ticket, my mega bus ticket. And I go back home. And then like a couple months after that, my ex-boyfriend slides in my DM. He like, oh, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. I was like, I'm doing okay. But, and so now Buddy has a stripper girlfriend who is actively participating in his dreams to be a pimp. So if you want to hear more about that, there's a story time for that as well. But yeah, that is the story of what happened when he choked me. So I hope you enjoy the video. I know it's not funny, but I laugh now because first of all, it was so long ago, and secondly, like it was all preventable. Like the signs were there, honey. The signs were there. He was like one of those nice people who like spring their anger on you, like oh I just can't take any more of this, but there was no warning. Like there was like I don't know, like something a serial killer would do. Like, and he was very close to that in my mind. Like he was very close to that. But yeah, if you guys see the warning signs, heed the warning, okay? Just because like he's very nice, there's always gonna be red flags. Like he was really controlling. Like I told you in the story, he controlled our money. Like he had a box with our money in it for like arranged for the bills, but he controlled that. I didn't have any control over where the money went, what was divided into what. There was no consultation with me. And then he was a really mean person, but he was really nice at the same time. He was the first guy to ever buy me flowers, but he constantly thought about it, what everybody else thought about us. So I'm just saying, the warning signs were there. I don't think that Buddy actually loved me ever. Not to like almost take my life, you know. So Oh, and Buddy is in jail for murder by strangulation as we speak. So just heed the warning signs, please and thank you. Because if I would have went back when he was like, "Oh, do you want to come back?" After he choked me, then I could have been dead like the person he killed. You know. That is the end of my story time. And my son's trying to get in, so I should go. Thanks for watching.